Tim was raised on a 17,000-acre ranch in western Nebraska with a cow herd consisting of 500 registered Angus cows. He graduated from Oklahoma State University with an animal science degree and a minor in business. During his time at OSU, he was a member of the National Championship Livestock Judging Team, the World Champion Quarter Horse Judging Team, and the Meats Judging Team. After college, Tim accepted a position at Whitestone Farm in Aldie, Virginia, and specialized in show and sale cattle for 10 years. He then took a manager's position for a short term of 4 years in West Virginia at Foxcross Farm before landing a general management job outside Philadelphia at Cherry Knoll Farm. April of 2020, Tim embarked on a new venture in Sullivan, Indiana, starting Furry Fitzgerald, a registered Angus and Simmental herd focusing on raising show heifers. Tim has had the honor of judging many national shows from coast to coast, including the National Western, North American, American Royal, Atlantic National, Fort Worth, Houston, San Antonio, and numerous stock shows around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Tim Fitzgerald of Sullivan, Indiana.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. What a pleasure being here judging your belted Galloway shows this afternoon. Really a nice baby to start off your show with. Just a single entry. Here's a June heifer calf, folks. And I think when you look at this one, just in terms of soundness and feet and legs and structure, I think is really, really nice. Design and makeup is really nice. She has some body. She has some fleshing ability. You like the design about her front end, shoulder, top, and hip. Young Man does a nice job. Really nice heifer to start your show off with.
Third and final call, Class 7 and 8, belted Galloways. Third and final call, Class 7 and Class 8, belted Galloway females. First call, Class 22, Hereford females. First call, Class 22, Hereford females. Your Class 2 belted Galloway results in first place. Entry number 1, Rai Family Belties Kiwi, owned by Carla and Sean Denton.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, I'll tell you what, it's only the second class, but I think the heifer calf we're going to start with is pretty special, folks. And when you look at one like this, any breed, any color, I think they're pretty nice. Here's a heifer that's not only just sound and just good structured on both ends, and the angles are really, really nice, but you know, she has that certain extra quality and balance from her point of her nose back and her shoulder and her top and her hip and her hind leg. You get off alongside her and evaluate her, and boy, is she nice in that forerib and nice in that flank. Young lady does a nice job. Really a high-quality heifer to start off the class. I think the next two heifers are pretty contrasting in type. The heifer in second, I think she closely follows the heifer in first, just in terms of length and top and hip and hind leg. I think ideally you might just soften her down just a touch and maybe widen her out when you get behind her. But here's a heifer that has some length aside and some length in design in her top and extension out that front end that excels over the heifer in third. The heifer in third from the ground up in terms of substance in her feet, substance in her bone structure and her top and hip, you really like, ideally you just like to change the structure and loosen her up in her hip, just see her move with a little more flexibility around the ring. You like the quality, you like the balance of her, you just like to change her hip and hind leg just a touch. Nice class of belted Galloways.
Really fun class of March females over here. A lot of give and take, I think, within this particular class. But, you know, I got these pair up here, and I think they're both extremely high quality, obviously different as far as their type and kind goes. There's enough more of this one that wins for me to go ahead and sort her. This is a stout female when you get right on top of her as far as just shape and dimension and body cavity goes. Heavy boned and big footed female. You know, is she the sleekest up through her head and neck as some we've seen? Maybe not, but there's power there. I think her structure's good. Bold made, well-built female there to win the class. I like this one in second. And she kept growing on me the longer she was out here. I think her structure's good. Rib cage is really good. Really fresh in her condition and up through her front end. There could be more of her for me as far as just making her a little stouter down her top and out of her hip. I'd like to just make her a little heavier boned and bigger footed with that, but good heifer there in her own right, real fresh in terms of her condition, excellent in terms of her structure. The dark red heifer here coming next, this young lady can get her parked and, man, can give you just a great look. Real neat up through her front end, good down her top and out of her hip, has some body shape and dimension to her. Switch that pair there just, I think, on structure and just quality there when they get out on the go. This one will get just a little awkward at times and could just flex and use her hind leg just a little truer, but a really, really nice heifer there in her own right. Big stout one coming next. Worlds of mass and power in this dark red female here. Really, really opened up in terms of her rib cage, and she's super dimensional. Getting a little heavier condition up through her shoulder and her chest and her front end, pushing a little extra there. Just need to make her go just a little easier off both ends as compared to them cattle right up front, but good female there in her own right. Kind of switch gears here. One that's leaner and fresher and really nice in terms of her top line. Not enough of her in terms of her center body. I think, too, we could change her the way she goes out of her hip and hind leg, square her up there at the ground, and just let everything handle a little nicer. But good female there in her own right. Really a broody-made, big-bodied female here that's really dense in terms of her makeup. Need to just let her get out and go and take a longer step. I think just fix her there in her top line and her tailhead ever so slightly as well, but really wide-built and massive heifer there, too. Stout one coming next. It's a little rougher there in terms of her makeup up front, but a good heifer as far as bone work and body shape goes. Could make her a little more attractive there from this side. Got three really nice ones here to close this particular class. Heifers with length, heifers with extension to them. Maybe just need to go a little better off both ends. Could just true them up in terms of their structure.
First call, Class 12 and 16, belted Galloways. First call, Class 12 and 16, belted Galloway females. Results from Class number 3. In first place, entry number 5, Sunnybrook Rita, owned by Lane Moyett. In second place, entry number 6, Gypsies Kaylee, owned by Carla and Sean Denton. In third place, entry number 3, Ashley Lohman. Second call, Class 22, Hereford females. Second call, Class 22, Hereford females.
Again, in your Belted Galloway show, folks, just really a nice trio of heifer calves out here. Heifer we're going to start with just in terms of body mass and shape and width and dimension. I think she excels over this trio pretty handily. Here's a heifer, you just love the depth in her forerib, but she carries that depth back in her flank. She's sound and functional. She's good on her feet and legs. She shows me a little more width and dimension on the move than the next two behind her. Here's a heifer that you like the angulation in her shoulder. You like that extension out her front 1/3 as well. I think the heifer in second closely follows her in terms of design and top and hip and hind leg. She's extended out that hip and hind leg. She's sound and she's functional. Compared to the heifer in first, you just might be soften her up and widen her up just a hair when you get behind her. The next heifer the young lady has, again, sound and functional, really nice on her feet and legs. Here's a heifer that has some dimension when you get behind her. She gets just a nickel planer in that shoulder, planer in that front end. Just had a little quality, nice trio of females.
Excellent division over here in our Hereford ring, and just 4 extremely good females, and those classes were so good and so deep, and this is fun. This is a load of fun for me out here to get to evaluate big, heavy breds that are this high quality. And I kind of say it in every division, and it holds true. For me, there's some different shapes and sizes and kinds out here, but that's okay, though, because each breeder and each individual out here maybe likes a different one or the way they like them. To me, I'm trying to find, the happy medium between it all, and so they're very, very high-quality cattle out here. They read a little different on paper in some areas, but they're all very, very acceptable. So heifer that wins the first class, extremely fresh, extremely neat out here from a silhouette standpoint. Sure is very attractive. Top line, hip, and how her tailhead lays in her bodies, everything is very neat there. Like the way her shoulder is hooked into her body cavity, and she had that advantage in that class as being so much more attractive in her shoulder and her forerib up front. Still ties high on the top side of her shoulder up into her front end. I think her structure is very, very, very good out here. She's a little neater up front than the one that wins the second class, and so that's where the debate lies out here as far as just stoutness versus one that's a little neater. So I like her in terms of her underline, her forerib back to her rear and flank, a little nicer than the one that wins the second class, but very, very good heifer to win that class. This one's extra powerful here that wins the class 2. Really a lot of shape when you get on top of her. Bold sprung, wide built, massive one here that's really truly opened up in her rib cage. She's powerful from behind, lots of bone and foot underneath those. And she is neat in terms of her underline and her chest and all the way up through her front end is the one that wins the first class. No, but I think you still have to appreciate all the power and shape and dimension that one has and still gets out and goes extremely well. So for me, I think there is a pair of them. They are extremely different as far as their type and kind goes. But let's congratulate these exhibitors out here. The young man out of the first class is going to be your champion. The young man out of the second will be your reserve. Congratulations.
In your first division out here of your Belted Galloway show, folks, a really nice trio of class winners and a pair of nice seconds out here. I think when you look at this group as a whole, sound and functional, really good on their feet and legs. I think cattle with a nice look to them, a nice balance to them. You look at this breed and they have a little extra body and fleshing ability. I think when you look at this trio out here, you see a little extra quality and balance about their head and necks, tops and hips. Folks, if you would, let's give the exhibitors a nice round of applause. We'll pick your 2 calf champions out of this division.
And your champion junior heifer calf in your Belted Galloway show goes to entry number 5, Sunnybrook Rita, owned by Lane Molliet. And your reserve champion junior heifer calf at your belted Galloway show goes to entry number 8, Casa Cattle Princess Peach, owned by Casa Cattle Company. Your champion spring yearling female in your Hereford show goes to entry number 228, FTZS Loretta 101J, owned by Lane and Logan Cady of New Windsor, Maryland. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 250, Purple Geraldine 34J, owned by Suter Clark of Gretna, Virginia. This is your third and final call, Class 22 Hereford. Third and final call, Class 22 Hereford female. Second call, Class 12 and 16 Belted Galloways. Second call, Class 12 and 16 Belted Galloways.
In your Galloway side, folks, really a nice trio of females out here in this class. Really a nice heifer we're going to start with, just in terms of overall body mass and soundness and structure and smoothness of design. You know, she's really nice in that front 1/3, and that angle of her shoulder sits in really nice. Underneath her spine, you like the length of top and length of hip. She's sound and nice structured, has some width and dimension to her base as well. Young lady's doing a nice job with the heifer we're going to start in first. The heifer in second's a close thing to her in terms of body mass and body shape. You like the broodiness, you like the cowiness appearance to her, you know, compared to the ideal or the heifer in front. You might stouten up that hip and that hind leg just a nickel, but at the same time, she's sound and good structured on her front end, shows some quality and some femininity from the point of that shoulder forward. Just like to change them back wheels just a touch. The heifer in third. Here's a heifer that's designed really nice from the center rib forward. You like the femininity, the angulation off both ends compared to the top two. You just like to add a little more performance, stouten her up, but a nice trio of females in your belted Galloway show.
Very good class of February heifers here on the Hereford side, and I think the one that wins, very athletic, very sound in terms of her type and kind. Excuse me. Really fresh and unique up through her front end, and excuse me, sorry about that. Very good heifer here to win this class, so extremely fresh, extremely sound in terms of her build, really neat up through her front end. Is there the power and body shape that they're one in second? No, but I think that one wins from a freshness, a look, and a quality standpoint. High quality heifer here to start. Good heifer here in second, gives you a great look at the stand, big body, dense female, maybe a little extra condition out here as compared to our class winner. Just need to get out and go a little easier off both ends as compared to that one, but good heifer here in her own right. Got another good heifer here coming next. If we could loosen this one up off both ends, I think this female becomes extremely competitive. Strong in her top line, level out of her hip, nice in terms of her rib cage. Just needs to get out and go off both ends just a little easier for me. Good pair of heifers here that are going to close this class. I think they're functional in their kind. They've got some rib and volume. Need a little more look and balance and strength and quality here from the side.
Single entry in your belted Galloway side, folks. Here's a heifer that's designed nice, a heifer that has a little extra body, a little extra mass, a little extra shape to her for her design, for her size, a heifer that's smooth in her top, beautiful out her hip and her hind leg. You know, if you could change her just a little bit, I think you change the angulation maybe off the front end. She gets maybe a nickel straighter shouldered. You just like to change that, and I think that'll loosen up her hip just a touch. But a heifer that has that broodiness, that cowiness look for her, young lady's doing a nice job. Just a nice single entry.
First call on champion and reserve champion Hereford females. First call all champion and reserve champion Hereford females to the makeup arena. Third and final call, class 12 and 16 belted Galloways. Third and final call, class 12 and 16 belted Galloways. First call, class 17, 20, and 21 females. First call, class 17, 20, and 21 belted Galloway females.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, here's a division of fall heifer calves out here. Just a trio of really nice, sound, nice moving cattle on this side. Here's the two heifers that won their class. The design is really nice. The quality is very high. Angulation is really nice, how they set them feet down, and they have some with the base and some with the design. The heifer that was second in this division as well has some performance, has some style, has some cowiness and broodiness and design. Really a nice feeding animal, folks. If you would, let's give these trio of females a really nice round of applause. We'll pick your two champions out of this division.
Very high quality pair of January females over here, and a pretty dominant class winner. This is a good heifer here that wins this class. Just huge in terms of her body cavity and forerib all the way back to her rear rib and flank. Very impressive. As you get on top of her, it's just being stout and opened up. I think her structure here out here in this ring is certainly very, very high quality. The way she gets out of her front end and uses her hip and hind leg extremely well. Really nice place to start here in this class. Young man's got a good heifer here next. Broody, cowy female. Maybe not the look and quality and balance from the side as our class winner. I think she's sound and functional. Good heifer here in her own right. Congratulations.
Second call, class 17, 20, and 21, belted Galloway females. Second call, class 17, 20, and 21. Second call, all champion and reserve champion Hereford females. Second call, all champion and reserve champion Hereford females to the makeup arena. Your Class 20 results from your female Hereford show. In first place, entry number 263, WR 2296, Katniss 2J, owned by Nicholas Tolerance of Media, Illinois. In second place, entry number 259, SLC 55C, Kelly 5J, owned by Corey Stumpf of Columbia, Illinois. In third place, entry number 254, Venture Show Cattle. In fourth place, entry number 255, Adeline Sorgan. And in fifth place, entry number 257, Jacob Bowen. Your Class 21 results. In first place, entry number 273, GKB 2296, Elvira 497E, owned by Madeline Norville of Tuttle, Oklahoma. In second place, entry number 268, Showtime Queen of Hearts 106, owned by Jacob Weichert of Fort Jennings, Ohio.
Outstanding division here, January, February females, and not near the numbers, and you expect that as we get up here into these older ages because it's so challenging to keep these bigger ones looking this good and this fresh, and so that's to commend the exhibitors out here for bringing such high quality ones here that are still extremely sound and functional in their type and kind. And so within this pair of class winners, the one that wins the first class, really, really fresh, heifer that you really appreciate for being so neat and attractive up through her front end. A good length in terms of her body. I think female you got to like in terms of her feet and legs extremely well. Compare to the one right behind her. There's not as much rib cage, there's not as much volume, there's not as much stoutness, but still a very high quality female there in her own right. One that wins the second class here is just massive in terms of her center body. Forerib, back through her rear rib and flank is so true. She's got a nice sweep, but yet she's opened up and stout there in that area. It's a heavy bone, big-footed female that I think gets out and goes extremely well. You know, to compare the one right in front of her. Not as neat up there at the top of her neck, not as neat there in her throat latch, but I think there's enough mass and power in that one to carry her a long way. So help me congratulate these exhibitors. Young lady out of the second class will be your champion. Young man out of the first class will be reserved. Congratulations.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, just really nice pair of summer yearling heifer calves out here, yearling heifers out here. A little contrasting in type and design, but a really nice pair of females out here. The heifer we're going to start with, folks, the black and white heifer, is just simply sounder. She's just a little looser in her structure. She takes a big, long, easy stride. She has a little more flexibility off both ends. You know, the angle of her shoulder just a little nicer. The angle of that hip is a little more correct. But where she excels is she's just a little looser in that structure and takes a longer stride on the move. You like the quality, you like the balance, you like the femininity she has from the point of her shoulder forward. Ideally, you might stouten her up compared to the heifer behind her just a nickel, but at the same time, folks, she's just a little looser designed in her top and her hip and her hind leg. On the stand, the cream-colored heifer, this is how she excels, just in terms of cow power and stoutness and width of base and dimension of muscle. She's really wide base when you get behind her, and that muscle she has in her lower quarter and stifle. You like the design of this female, or you'd like to change her. She gets a little more restricted off that hip. She gets a little shorter strided. You definitely like to loosen her up from the top down. From the stand, she excels. You just like to loosen her structure. Nice pair of females in this class.
Results of Class 7 of your Belted Galloway show. In first place, entry number 12, Casa Cattle Once Upon a Time, owned by Ashton Karen. In second place, entry number 10, Oatley's Farm Winter is Here, owned by Olivia Oatley. In third place, entry number 11, Charlotte Albaugh. Your Class 8 results. In first place, entry number 14, Highland Oats Jitterbug, owned by Jennifer Lohman. Your champion senior heifer. Your champion junior yearling Hereford female goes to entry number 273, GKB 2296 Elvira 49070, owned by Madeline Norville of Tuttle, Oklahoma. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 263, WR 2296 Katniss 2J, owned by Nicholas Torrance of Media, Illinois. Third and final call, all champion and reserve champion Herefords to the makeup arena. Third and final call, all champion and reserve champion Hereford females to the makeup arena.
good class of our senior yearling females here, and this will be our division. And two pairs up here on top that just kind of works out that way, but they're both extremely good. And I think within the pair, the young lady's heifer here that wins is very high quality, extremely fresh and sleek up through her front end. Very, very good in terms of her structure and her balance. She's got the advantage over the one right behind her, being a little bolder in terms of her center body. I think she handles her feet and legs just a little nicer. You could shorten her up and space her teats out just a little more ideally, but that's a very, very good cow here to win this particular class. Good one coming next. Maybe a little stouter when you get right on top of her than our class winner, just as far as shape and dimension out of her hip, but maybe not just the body shape and dimension or near sleek up through her front end. Weaker in terms of her structure ever so slightly, but doing a very good job here raising this little heifer calf. Another good one here coming next. Big stout one here coming out. Powerful, wide-made, massive kind of a female. So a little plainer up through her front end, maybe not just the look and design of the ones up front. I think with that too, probably could make her a little farther along here in terms of her gestation, but a good heifer there in her own right. Had a good pair of them here to close, and both of them are stout and they're functional and they're type and kind. A little rougher in terms of their top line, maybe not just the look and balance from the side, but very good females. Congratulations to those exhibitors here in our senior yearling division.
Your Class 22 results of your senior yearling Hereford females and also your champion goes to entry number 280, SFCC TRM Lady Endure 254, owned by Harper Rose Starnes of Fort Payne, Alabama. Your reserve champion and second place in class goes to entry number 347 BPSPEF 88X Henrietta 45H, owned by Bailey and Shelby Pearl of Duquesne, Illinois. In third place, entry number 285, Bristol and Sydney Cherry. In fourth place, entry number 281, Sedona, Madison, and Salem Seifert. And in fifth place, entry number 279, Salem and Sedona Sifford.
Really nice class of females on your belted Galloway side, folks. Little give and take in this top end. I think these top two heifers are really, really close. They're a little different in design and type, but really, really close. The heifer we're going to start with, folks, is just simply a little fresher design from the point of that shoulder forward. She's a little nicer out her neck. She shows me a little more femininity. When you look at this heifer from the side, she's designed beautiful in that top and beautiful in that hip. She has some rib shape. She has some flank shape as well. You know, she's really square and true in that hip and hind leg as well. You know, ideally compared to the heifer in second or ideal, you can maybe stouten her up when you get behind her and just blow her apart just a touch and see her move with a little more width of base. But in terms of freshness and femininity and the way she's made, that's where she excels over the heifer in second. The heifer in second, just in terms of sheer width of base and cowiness and broodiness and design from that shoulder back, you like the power she has. You like that depth in that rib. You like that depth in that flank. She's sound and functional on her feet and legs. She gets a little plainer. She gets a little heavier condition in that front 1/3. You just like to pretty her up in that neck and head just a little bit to switch these two. A heifer that's really nice from the ground up. The next pair of heifers, I think it's relatively close. The heifer in third's just a little higher quality female. She's a little nicer design in her top and her hip and her hind leg. Sound and functional, really nice on her feet and legs. Just in terms of sheer quality and balance, you like the way this one's made. In terms of productivity and performance, you could stouten this one up just a little bit, deepen her down just a hair, add a little softness to her rib shape and that flank shape. You like the design and the freshness. The heifer in fourth stand, folks, is sound and functional and really nice on her feet and legs. She takes an easy stride. She likes the flexibility and movement off both ends in her shoulder and her hip and her hind leg. She has some length of design as well. She just gets a little plainer compared to the top few. She gets a little tighter designed as well. You just like to soften her up. Nice class of females in your belted Galloway show.
Now exhibiting in the Hereford ring is a selection of your grand champion Hereford female. Competing for the title, we have entry number 15, exhibited by Purple Rain Cattle Company of Tulalin, Illinois. Entry number 376, exhibited by Boyert Cattle of Pleasantville, Iowa. Entry number 110, exhibited by Hadley Dunklow of Wayne, Nebraska. Entry number 168, Ella Bain of Towanda, Illinois. Entry number 209, Sarah Rose Sullivan of Dunlap, Iowa. Entry number 228, Lane and Logan Cady of New Windsor, Maryland. Entry number 273, Madeline Norville of Tuttle, Oklahoma. Entry number 280, Harper Rose Starnes of Fort Payne, Alabama. Third and final call, class 20 and 21, belted Galloway females. Your Class 12 results of your belted Galloway females show. In first place, entry number 18, Highland Oats Jolene, owned by Ashley Lohman. In second place, entry number 17, Border View Fleetwood Stevie Nicks, owned by Lexi Zepp.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, really a nice duo of heifers out here in this class. Exceptional heifer we're going to start off with, just in terms of cowiness and broodiness, and you like the structure and build of this female. You like the angulations off both ends. You know, she's relatively fresh off both ends as well. She shows some smoothness to that shoulder and some design and femininity out that front 1/3. You like the cowiness and smoothness and the depth of her forerib, which carries back in that flank. Young lady's doing a nice job with the heifer we're going to start off with. Heifer in second, folks, sound and functional and very fresh in her makeup. You know, you just like to put a little more performance and weight per day of age in this one, but a heifer that's designed really nice. Her points are all square. You like the way she moves, just like to see a little more performance.
Your Class 16 belted Galloway female results. In first place, entry number 25, Sunnybrook Rebel, owned by Lane Moyet. In second place, entry number 26, AJC Livin' the Dream, owned by Ashton Karen. In third place, entry number 19, Sophia Romani. And in fourth place, entry number 24, Kathleen and Michael Wagner.
Wow. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, no doubt about it, absolutely incredible. This lineup of females is honestly can make you speechless, even though I'm still standing out here talking, but they are extremely, extremely good. I am so humbled just to have the opportunity for this privilege to come out here and sort through these Hereford females today. Definitely got to thank a lot of people. My wife, Natalie's sitting right up here. Love you to death, honey. Thanks for all that you do. My mom and dad are sitting up here as well, and my two boys are running around here somewhere, and if you know anything about us, I'm sure they're jumping off something or trying to go to the hospital yet today. So, but we hopefully that doesn't happen, though. So definitely got to thank my brother-in-law, Curtis Klingeman, in the back for taking care of everything that we do on a daily basis, because this is what we do. I'm so passionate about this show cattle industry. Wake up every morning trying to raise better ones and get better, and so I've been very blessed to be surrounded by a lot of extremely good people, and so it's very humbling to stand out here amongst a lot of peers and get to evaluate your stock. And so, it is a neat situation. We just 10 days ago now had our production sale, and then we moved right into Louisville. And so I understand this time of year how exhausting it is and everyone trying to get ready for this show. But please, I definitely want to tell you it is worth every second of it to get down here, to get one back out here in the green chips. And so this is my favorite show. I'm 38, but this is my 39th Louisville in a row. My mom brought me as just a little baby, and so I will not miss the North American because it is absolutely no question when you walk down that ramp, it gives you chills, and you hear the organ playing, and it's just something about Louisville that makes you want to show livestock. And so thank you so much for having me. There is no better place in the world than showing livestock for in a junior setting or even an open show setting. But thank you so much. These cattle are incredible. You could go so many different ways. If you wanted to start down here with these calves, I couldn't argue with you. Now, I'm a big believer in if there's good big ones out here, you got to keep running with those because I know how hard it is to make them look good when they're big bred. So, but very, very good calves, and they're going to do a lot of winning. I can guarantee you that. And so we get down here to these big ones, and there's some decisions to be made. And depending on where you want to put your priorities, or maybe based on the paper, you could do a lot of different things. But thank you so much again. Big round of applause one time for our champions out here. Congratulations. I'll get you a grand in reserve.
And your grand champion Hereford female goes to entry number 228, FTZS Loretta 101J, owned by Lane and Logan Katie of New Windsor, Maryland. And your reserve grand champion Hereford female goes to entry number 273, GKB 2296 Elvira 49070, owned by Madeline Norville of Tuttle, Oklahoma.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, tremendous set of junior yearling females out here. I think these two class winners and seconds out here, when you look at these cattle, are just so sound and nice structured and functional cattle. And I think when you take them home and turn them out and introduce them to the real world, I think they're going to stay what they look like in this ring, just sound and functional cattle with some body and some belly and some shape. They have some femininity for females. They're smooth design. They're beautiful in their tops and their hips and their hind leg. Beautiful structured cattle on the ground as well. Folks, let's give the exhibitors out here a nice round of applause. We'll pick your two champions out of this division.
First call, Class 23, 24, and 25 Hereford Bulls to the Makeup Arena. First call, Class 23, 24, and 25 Hereford Bulls to the Makeup Arena. First call, all champion and reserve champion belted Galloway females. First call, all champion and reserve champion belted Galloway females to the makeup arena.
Single entry heifer in your belted Galloway show. Here's a heifer that's designed really nice, high quality. You love the front end, you love the femininity in the shoulder and the top and the hip as well. Very good on her feet and legs, a loose made, loose structured. Ideally, just like to see a little more body, a little more performance in this young lady, but designed really, really nice. Nice individual entry.
Second call, class 24 and 25 Hereford Bulls. Second call, class 24 and 25 Hereford Bulls.
Nice trio of senior yearlings folks in your belted Galloway show. Little give and take in this trio of heifers, all sound and functional and nice on their feet and legs. The brown and white heifer we're going to start with, folks, just a little stouter design. She's a little wider base. She shows me a little more dimension from her shoulder back. A heifer that has some width of base, some width of design, sound and functional on her feet and legs. She's nice out that shoulder as well. Just really a nice place to start in this class. I think the heifer in second's a close to her in terms of width and dimension and rib shape and muscle shape as well. You like the design in her shoulder. I think honestly you could maybe loosen her hip up just a touch, loosen her design up in her top, but a heifer that has some performance, some power. Really a high quality heifer standing in third, folks. Here's a heifer that's really nice out that front end. She shows worlds of femininity. You get behind her, you just like to stouten up, widen her up just a touch, add a little more shape, but a nice trio of senior yearlings. Really nice division of senior yearlings out here, folks. Designed really, really nice. They have some quality. They have some balance about them. Here's a trio of females out here that are really nice on their feet and legs. They have some productivity and some weight per day of age. They got some rib shape. They got some body shape. Nice group of females out here, folks. If you would, let's give them a nice round of applause and we'll pick your two champions out of this division.
Third and final call, Class 24 and 25 Hereford Bulls. Third and final call, Class 24 and 25 Hereford Bulls. Results from Class 21 of your belted Galloway show: in first place, entry number 31, Riversmith Jasmine, owned by Abigail Eileen Gant. In second place, entry number 30, owned by Olivia Graham. And in third place, entry number 34, Tommy McGuire.
First place goes to entry number 11, JFF Iris, exhibited by Andrea Weaver. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 9.
We've reached the conclusion of our optimized.
Hereford Bull entry number 294 and 296 to the scales immediately. Hereford Bull entry numbers 294 and 296 to the scales immediately. This is your first call, Class 26 and 27 Hereford Bulls. First call, Class 26 and 27 Hereford Bulls.
What a tremendous way here to kick off our bull show. Good pair of May calves out here, and kind of a dominant class winner out here. The Horn Bull, extra stout, extra powerful, lots of shape and dimension you get right on top of him. Yet I still think he gives you a very, very good look here from the side. Nice in terms of his structure. Good place to start in this class. Hex Bull's very good as well and gives you a really, really nice silhouette here. He's neat up through his front end and strong down his top and level out of his hip. Maybe not as coordinated on his rear too, and just not the sheer mass and power of the one that wins, but a good calf here to come in second.
Well, folks, on your belted Galloway side, tremendous set of females, and as breeds that show this week, we haven't maybe had the large amount of numbers out here, but I think when you analyze this group of cattle as a breed, you definitely see the quality. I think design-wise, they're really, really nice. They have that extra body and mass and shape to them, but at the same time, in terms of quality and balance, I think they're designed really well. Sound and functional, really good on their feet and legs. This is just a really, really
Really nice red pole females here in this April class. I'll tell you what, the heifer we're going to start with, this young man there in the gray hat. Here's one that it has an outlier look as far as for the contemporary of its breed, and it's really from the shoulder back on this female. She's really impressive as far as the rib.
And 27 Hereford Bulls. Second call, class 26 and 27 Hereford Bulls. In your grand champion belted Galloway heifer goes to entry number 5, Sunnybrook Rita, owned by Lane Mollett. And your reserve grand champion belted Galloway female goes to entry number 21, Oatley's Farm Pervanti, owned by Olivia Oatley. Congratulations. All belted Galloway bulls to the
Over here on the red pole side again, here's a January bred heifer here that's springing pretty good. The young lady said she's due here in a couple weeks, but you certainly got to admire this one as far as the amount of just cow look that she has. She's springing there, and she's kind of she didn't have the fancy hair coat or anything like that, but she's made really nice. You really appreciate her rib shape and the design. Maybe tone her down just there ever so slightly in her tail head by being picky on one that's getting ready to calve here in 2 weeks. But certainly a nice female.
first call, class 28 and 29 Hereford Bulls. First call, class 28 and 29 Hereford Bulls. Second call, all belted Galloway Bulls to the makeup arena. Second call, all belted Galloway Bulls to the makeup arena.
So really good class of these March bull calves here, and 4 high quality ones. And I think within the 4, the pair up here on top become extremely good. Both of them are highly presented.
over here on the red pole side. We're in our junior division here. These females are really, really nice. There's 3 good representations of this breed out here. There's some outliers here as far as one that kind of sets apart from what we're looking for today. The challenging part for us, for Alyssa and I, was to go through here and pick out which one we want for reserve, and it's going to come down to just the amount of shoulder and who's laying in their shoulder in there nicer for us. I'm going to let Alyssa go out and pick the champion in this division. Let's give them a round of applause.
And your junior champion heifer goes to entry number 13, a Red Oak L.J. Gwynn, exhibited by Luke Jones. Congratulations.
Well, a fairly close decision in this class as we get into the purebred show, and I don't argue with you too terribly much if you like it the other way, but today I'm going to side with the heifer that I think has just a notch more dimension to her, and I think you can read that in terms of how she's built in her forerib. Really opens up with more span and curvature to the top side of her rib cage, and subsequently drapes a notch more muscle off down her top and out of her hip. I think that if you're going to get picky on her, she's maybe a little bit more compact in terms of her build. You can read that in her face. She's a little shorter about her distance from the top of her head to her nose, and she's perhaps a little bit more tight in terms of how she hits the surface off of her pasterns. But I'm going to call her functional enough and still side with the extra dimension that she's got. If you want to call this longer-bodied, more extended heifer the structural upgrade, I think you have to do so with a little bit of trepidation. I do think that she's longer hipped. She is quite a bit more extended, but I think that if you read how she's built in her shoulder blade and her knee, you have some things you might like to modify about her as well. Couple that with the fact that she gives up a little bit of dimension relative to the smaller framed heifer. That's where my preferences side, but still I think a nice pair of heifers with contrasting strengths.
And your reserve junior champion red pole female goes to entry number 3, Destiny, exhibited by Zoe Pefferine. Congratulations. And first place in Class 1 of your Summer Heifer Calf Salier Show goes to entry number 2539, TMC Lady K, exhibited by Sam Jennings of Stanford, Kentucky. And second place in Class 1 goes to entry number 6507, RF Daisy 22K, exhibited by Rose Farms, Jonesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 2.
Here in your senior yearling division, there's 2 entries out here. We're going to go ahead and use the female that's in production. She's got a really nice month-old heifer calf on her. You really admire this young cow here. She's going into production, doing a nice job. This is what it's all about in the beef industry for me is as you get a good cow, good first calf heifer with a nice heifer calf on the side, you can't get any better than that, and it's a logical place to start in this class. Young man's heifer here in second, really like the female. She just needs to be in as much production as the one in front of her. Certainly a nice heifer that goes out and reaches her stride. Just need to see some more production out of her to get around the one in front of her.
March single entry heifer over here, and I think one that when she kind of pulls herself together can give you a nice look of quality from the side. Certainly one that is very alert. She's very proud-headed out here, and she couples that nicely with some extra dimension of muscle and power as she leaves you. And I think that with that extra dimension, she probably comes with a little bit of a sacrifice in terms of structural perfection. She gets a little bit more forward in her knee, perhaps a notch tighter in terms of her pasterns, but still, I think she's a functional brood cow prospect and certainly has some nice pieces to breed with.
And in first place in Class 2 early spring heifer calves over in your Cellular Show goes to entry number 6508, RF Maggie 8K, exhibited by Rose Farms, Jonesboro, Tennessee. We are now ready for Class 6 over in your Cellular Show. Please note that Class 5 is a scratch. Class 5 is a scratch. We are ready for Class 6 early junior heifer calves. And placings in class number 17 in your Red Pole Female Show. First place goes to entry number 17, DFM Sarah Sanders 047, exhibited by Lane McCall. And second place goes to entry number 16, Coach's Lady May E03, exhibited by David Coach. Congratulations. Those will automatically be your senior champion heifer and reserve senior champion heifer. Now in the ring, we are ready for your grand champion, Red Pole Female. Again, we are ready for the selection of your grand champion, Red Pole Female.
Well, we're picking a calf champion over here in the Slayer Purebred Show, and two cattle that I think if you take a gander at the program are relatively close in terms of age, and appears that they're sired by the same bull, and I think you can read that in those cattle. I think they're very similar in terms of their build. I think they're quite stout, really good in terms of their shape. Also cattle that are fairly similar in terms of some things I might like to modify in terms of maybe making them a little bit smoother in terms of how they blend their shoulder blade into their body wall, perhaps a little bit more flexible in terms of their hip and their hind leg. And I think between the two cattle, it's little nitpicky differences because they are so similar. I guess the one that just strikes me with a little bit more presence, a little bit more authority out here is the older heifer. She's my preference for this division. Reserve will be the gentleman's heifer out of the younger calf class. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
And your spring heifer calf champion over in your Cellular Show goes to entry number 6508, RF Maggie 8K, exhibited by Rose Farms from Jonesboro, Tennessee. We are now ready for your Class 6 early junior heifer calves over in your Cellular Show. Over in your Red Pole side, I would like to take this time to reintroduce your judges for today, Mr. Gary Staley. Gary Staley is from New Bern, Ohio, where he and his wife, Heather, own Heartstone Farms. They raise and market Simmental and Limousine cattle. Gary has had the honor of judging here at the North American and National Western Stock Show, as well as many other cattle shows across the U.S. He has been exhibiting cattle here at the North American for 35 years, and with him judging today is Miss Alyssa Carter. Alyssa Carter is from Oregano, Ohio. She currently attends the Ohio State University, majoring in agricultural pre-law. Alyssa and her family own and operate 4C show cattle, raising purebred shorthorn cattle. She has been exhibiting cattle at the North American for 10 years. Alyssa has judged at multiple 4-H National Livestock Judging Contests. Could you please give another round of applause for our judges, Alyssa Carter and Gary Staley?
Well, we're down to picking your champion red pole female over here, and I'll tell you what, once they come out and you line them up, they've got a heck of a lineup here in your red pole show. There's some very functional females, and I'll tell you what, over the years I've followed the red pole breed a little bit, and I'll tell you what, these cattle are made to be functional commercial cattle and a commercialman's aspect. And I'll tell you what, the light birth weights and the amount of marbling that they carry on down in through their from calving to finish, they do a great job, and you can see it in these females how the productivity is laid in there. There's some outliers out here as far as the ones that really come to the top or floating to the top for us. They're good functional cattle that are sound at the ground. I just think it's a good lineup of cattle here, and Alyssa and I have talked out what we think is going to be a really good champion female, and we're going to go back and pull in the reserve or the second for the reserve out of that division, and then talk them again for your reserve. But let's give them a big round of applause, and we'll get you a champion female.
And your grand champion red pole female goes to entry number 13, Red Oak L.J. Gwynn, exhibited by Luke Jones. Congratulations.
Well, just sliding back over here to the Solaire show, we've got a single class and a division, so these are per se your champion and reserve in this specific division. 2 January-born heifer calves, and I think cattle that have some similarities, but I think I'm going to go ahead and side with the one that I read with just more internal dimension and stoutness as you get right in behind those cattle and up on top of them. I do think that she does have an advantage in terms of weight per day of age. She, like her classmate, could maybe be modified from her shoulder forward, a little bit bold there at the top of her shoulder, like to lay them in a little bit smoother in terms of her body wall, but still I think a nice kind of functional brood cow prospect. Maybe the one that gives you a little bit quicker eye, and certainly appreciate how she's built in terms of the levelness down her top and out of her upper hip is the other heifer in this division. She's one that maybe doesn't have the same robustness that we see in our class winner in terms of her forerib, and she too wants to get a notch straighter in the angle of her shoulder up front, but still a nice pair of heifers, a nice division champion in reserve.
I would just like to thank the North American and Gary for letting me come out and judge them with me. When we get down to reserve, it really just comes down to structure to us, and there's 2 really good ones out here that it came down to, and strictly it was just down to structure. So we're going to go out and pick our reserve champion.
And your reserve grand champion red pole female goes to entry number 4, Red Oak L.J. Ryan, exhibited by Luke Jones. Congratulations. And we'd like to announce your Glen Rains Memorial Premier Breeder goes to Luke Jones of West Milton, Ohio. Congratulations for your Premier Breeder. Also, we'd like to announce your junior winner, Diamond Excel Andrea Weaver from Longner, Indiana. Congratulations. And placings in class number 6 over in your Solaire show. First place goes to entry number 3648, WWB Carmel 33K, exhibited by Carrie Miller from Mont Crawford, Virginia. And second place in that class goes to entry number 3932, SFS Jackie 01K, exhibited by Tyson Shee from Princeton, Indiana. Congratulations.
I always think that cattle this age kind of look like toddlers, and this heifer's kind of acting like a toddler, having a little bit of a temper tantrum out here. But certainly one that I think that you can appreciate the good in. I think that in terms of softness, of body shape and type, I think that's a good kind of a brood cow. I think that she's quite functional in terms of her structure as well. Really big and massive in terms of her feet and bone work as well. And I think that if you want to get a little picky on her, she's maybe not quite as coordinated off the travel of her hind leg, and part of that is the immaturity that she is in terms of age and mindset out here. But certainly one that you can really appreciate just in terms of her usefulness.
And first place in class number 9, winner heifer calves in your Salier show, goes to entry number 4878, MNMS Juliet 40J, exhibited by Micah Lynch from Irving, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be class 10. And we would like to announce over in your red pole side that Luke Jones will automatically be your junior champion female and your reserve champion female. Congratulations to Luke Jones. And now in the ring is class 22 of your red pole bull show.
Starting off the Red Pole Bull Show, and then we're starting it off in a big way. Here's a really nice April heifer, bull calf here in the Red Pole Show, and here's one that you really admire his design and his makeup. He's really smooth about his shoulder, and when you go to the ground on this one, he's structurally correct, and when you look at him as far as his middle rib and then how low he carries it, and he's carrying that muscle down, and he's pushing a stifle. Really just a nice, complete, eye-appealing bull here to start off the bull show. My hat's off to you for breeding one like that. Let's give him a round of applause.
Got another fall heifer here, yearling here, and I think that one that you've got to love just in terms of her extension. Really long-bodied, takes a long, very flexible, fluid stride as she hits the surface as well. She's maybe not one that's overwhelming in terms of just the depth she's starting to drop in terms of her rear rib and flank, and maybe like to square out at her edges in terms of that flank shape and body shape, but one that I think just better days are ahead of her as she continues to mature.
And first place in class 22 of your Red Pole Bull Show goes to entry number 20, JF Guns N' Roses, exhibited by Jackson Farms. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be class 23. And we do have your raffle winner over in your Red Pole Association show. Your raffle winner goes to Brett Raines from Troy, Ohio. Congratulations.
Got a division selection here in our fall yearling classes, and
your class 26 of your Hereford Bull results. In first place, entry number 304, DJF 9156 Influence 2K, owned by Kaya Howe of Wagontown, Pennsylvania. In second place, entry number 300, PRCC 561C First National 202K, owned by Prairie Rose Cattle Company of Sherman, Illinois. In third place, entry number 303, owned by River Circle Farm. In fourth place, entry number 299, Grand Meadows Farm. And in fifth place, entry number 302, owned by Taylor Loudman.
Here's a 2-year-old bull out here on the stand. You really like the design of the bull. He has some quality and balance about his top. He shows me some masculinity from them ears back. You like the angulation in his shoulder and his hip and his hind leg. He has some shape, has some width of base and dimension. You like his testicular development. He's a bull for his size. You can maybe just soften him up just a little bit. Getting pretty critical on a bull that's long designed as he is, and shows some dimension in his feet, some dimension in his bone. Nice individual young man has.
Your champion junior bull calf of your Hereford Bull Show goes to entry number 309, Green 132E, Benz 119K, owned by Stephen W. Green of Munfordville, Kentucky. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 304, DJF 9156, Influence 2K, owned by Kaya Howe of Wagontown, Pennsylvania. Third and final call, Class 30, 31 and 32 Hereford Bulls. Third and final call, Class 30, 31 and 32 Hereford Bulls.
Good class here of December, November bull calves, and you know, a lot of fun here to evaluate these four in this class because there is some size difference and some shape difference out here. But I think the bull that wins for me does so in some fashion out here. He's the one with look and balance and quality down his top and out of his hip. It's a heavy bone, big footed bull that's sure rugged in terms of his kind. I think he set him in motion too. He's super athletic when you ask him to get out and go. You know, he's not as wild as some we've seen right there in his throat latch, but I think his neck tie is high. I think everything's square and true. Very, very high quality bull here to win this class. Good bull in second, sound and athletic when you ask him to get out and go. As compared to the one right up front, not as neat in terms of his hip placement, where his pin bones are at. Maybe wants to run downhill a shot. Not as stout in terms of his bone work all the way to the ground. Good animal there in second as well. Nice bull here coming in third too. A lot of shape and dimension when you get right on top of that one. A bull that's heavy boned and big footed. Not the softness through the center part of his body. Not near as true in terms of his structure as the cattle right in front of him, but a very nice bull there in his own right. Big, stout, high-performing bull here that's going to close the class. Need to redesign him in terms of his structure ever so slightly, make him a little neater up through his front end. But a lot of power, a lot of mass and shape in that particular bull.
Third and final call, Belted Galloway Class 126 Club Calf Steers and finished steers to the Makeup Arena. Once again, all purebred steers in the Belted Galloway Show, Club Calf Steers and finished steers to the Makeup Arena. First call, all mismarked heifers, percentage steers, and percentage heifers to the Makeup Arena. Once again, all percentage steers, mismarked heifers,
In your Belted Galloway side, folks, really a nice group of division winners out here in reserves. Here's a lineup, folks. Boy, we haven't had a lot of numbers, but I think when you look at quality of these cattle on the stand, you definitely see some quality about their their fronts and their heads and necks and their tops and their hips, I think they're relatively smooth in their makeup. They got some body, they got some shape, they got some muscle. I think when you watch these cattle move, you have some angulation off both ends and some looseness of structure and some looseness of stride. Really nice set of cattle, folks. If you would, let's give the exhibitors a nice round of applause in your champion bull lineup, and we'll pick your champion and reserve bulls.
And your grand champion belted Galloway bull goes to entry number 36, AJC Pink Whitney, exhibited by Ashton Karen.
Good pair of October bulls here on the Hereford side, and both high quality animals. And I think the one that wins for me, just a little nicer in terms of his structure, a little nicer here in his look from the side. Bull, it's really extended up through his front end. I think he balances up well down his top and out of his hip. He's got some body shape to him. He's a little higher there in his birth weight EPD, but I think the bull reads with a lot of quality in this particular class to go ahead and use him to win. Bull here in second, extra powerful, a lot of muscle, a lot of shape and dimension when you get it right on him. He's a little coarser there in his shoulder, maybe up through his front end. The redesign, the way he gets out and goes off his hind leg, but really a powerful, muscular bull here to come in second.
Your reserve grand champion belted Galloway bull goes to entry number 39, Harmony Meadows Nor'easter, owned by Matthew Sewell. All belted Galloway exhibitors, if you have groups that belong in the Get of Sire, Produce of Dam, or Breeders Herd, please make your way into the show arena. All remaining belted Galloway classes to the makeup arena. All remaining belted Galloway classes to the makeup arena. This includes club calf steers, finished steers, mismarked heifers, percentage steers, and percentage heifers to the makeup arena.
Good class of September bull calves over here, and a lot of quality in all three of these bulls, and they bring a lot of different positives to the table. And so, depending on where your priorities may be in your cow herd, I think all three of these bulls could do a lot of things extremely well. The high growth bull up here up front is one that is just super attractive. He's a long-bodied bull that's very neat in terms of his shoulder placement and how his head and neck comes out of the top of his shoulder. I think from there back, he balances up extremely well down his top and out of his hip. This bull to me has the advantage of just being a little looser constructed, the way he can get out and go and cover some ground. Izzy is opened up and big barreled and massive as the one right behind him. Probably not, but I think that's a leaner bull that's higher necked. I think he's fresher in his condition and gets out and goes and covers some ground. Good bull here in second. Really, really powerful when you get on top of him. He is massive. He is stout, big rib kind of a bull, and he can do a lot of things for a cow herd out here and do it very, very well. For me out here, he gets a little coarser in terms of his shoulder. Maybe he wants to swim and paddle out of his front end ever so slightly. It's not quite as athletic as the one that wins the class, but that's a massive kind of a bull to go ahead in second. Nice bull in third as well. Long-bodied bull that's really neat up front. I think he's neat out of his hip, not the rib and volume and capacity of the two that go ahead and win the class.
First call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls. First call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls. Once again, all remaining belted Galloway classes to the makeup arena. All remaining belted Galloway classes to the makeup arena. This includes club calf steers, percentage steers, mismarked heifers, and percentage heifers. Your Class 28 Hereford Bull results. In first place, entry number 315, CFCC OG Victor 120J, owned by Peyton Farmer of Brownstown, Indiana. In second place, entry number 317, Purple HB Zielinski 140J, owned by Purple Rain Cattle Company of Toulon, Illinois. In third place, entry number 314, owned by Harrison Roberts. And in fourth place, entry number 316, River Circle Farm. Your Class 29 results. In first place, entry number 320, DCF 814F Promote 127J, owned by Crown Herefords of Paris, Kentucky. In second place, entry number 318, GP Vanquish 1203, owned by Abigail Billing of Greendale, New Jersey.
What a neat division here in our senior bull calf division. Just incredible quality out here. These three class winners and seconds, and obviously like the heifer show, some of it is, they're not all built the same. They don't all look exactly alike, but just tremendous amount of quality. So, I mean, if you're sitting up in the stands or back here in the ring, definitely check them out, because there's a lot of things you can do with several of these bulls out here, and depending on where you're wanting to put your priorities or your program. To kind of break them down a little bit, the bull that wins the first class, he's an intriguing creature to me. To be that opened up and that massive and stout in terms of his build, that bull is still extremely good in terms of his structure, and so that's a hard thing to do. That's a big barreled bull that is still neat in terms of his shoulder and where his knee placement's at. Love his hip and his hind leg, how flexible he is there and all the way to the ground. As he is high-necked or is extreme there in terms of his look up front, maybe not. But that's a very massive kind of a bull that's awesome structured. I still think give you a great look here from the side. Bull that wins the middle class, nice bull. Very, very functional in terms of his type and kind. He's long-bodied. He's extended up front. Gives you a nice look, compared to the bulls on either side of him. As he balance up, maybe is nice off his hip and hind leg. Maybe not as stout in terms of his bone work, but a very high-quality individual there as well. The bull that wins the final class, he's the high growth bull out here and a high growth bull on paper as well. And so you study him. That's a long bodied bull that is very neat and attractive the way his head and neck comes up out of his shoulder. A bull that I think is extremely good in terms of his structural soundness. He gets out and goes and can cover some ground. You know, comparing him to the one up front, he's not as big bodied. He's not as big in terms of his forerib, and maybe from chest all the way back to rear rib and flank, he could balance just a little neater. So I think there's a few things you can do out here, and maybe my champion and reserve are, you know, not going to pair up 100%, but as far as quality goes, I think they're both extremely, extremely good. So let's put our hands together here in this division. I'll show you the two I like the best.
Your champion senior bull calf in your Hereford Bull Show goes to entry number 315. CFCC OG Victor 120J, owned by Peyton Farmer of Brownstown, Indiana. Your reserve champion goes to entry number 324. SSF KKH 15U Standard 132, owned by Todd, Kim, and Casey Herman of Lima, Ohio. BJ Herman and Sons of Edgerton, Ohio, and Stumpf Land and Cattle of Columbia, Illinois. Second call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls. Second call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls.
This young lady's brought us a very good June yearling bull here, and one I think has got tons of quality when you study him just from a rib and volume standpoint. A bull that's very opened up and bold sprung, a lot of mass and dimension to him. I think he gets out and goes and covers his ground really well. Nice high quality bull to win this class. Congratulations.
Third and final call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls. Third and final call, class 33, 34, and 35 Hereford Bulls. Your class 31 winner went to entry number 327, JCB 413 Scotty Bloomquist, 95Y, owned by JC Cattle Company of Norman, Indiana. Now entering the Hereford ring will be class number 32 of your early summer yearling bulls.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, here's a class of prospect steers out here, and we're just going to keep them just the way they came in the ring. Steer we're going to start with is just a little sounder made. He's a little looser structured. I think when you start analyzing his movement and the way he stands, I think the angulations are a little more correct, and he's a little more correct on his feet and legs. He has some shape of top, some shape of hip as well. He's designed really nice as well. The young lady's doing a nice job, but a steer that's just a little sounder in his movement than the steer in second. On the stand, the steer in second, you like the trueness of lines and the sharpness of top and hip and hind leg. Where you'd like to change him is simply structure. I think he gets a little straighter off both ends. You'd like to change the angulation just a little bit, loosen him up, clean his joints up, but really a nice pair of prospect steers did in your belted Galloway show.
High quality set of these May yearling bulls, and very, very good top pair of these. I think with that, though, the bull that wins, enough more length and extension and look here from the side. Very neat the way this bull is laid into his shoulder and neck, the way his neck comes out of the top of his shoulder. I think from there back, very expressive in terms of his muscle shape down his top and out of his hip. You know, a bull that's sound in terms of his structure. He's probably not as massive bodied as the one that's in second, but I think there's plenty of rib cage, plenty of rib shape in that one. Very, very good place to start. Good bull in second, too. He is sound in terms of his structure as well. Bull, I think, balances up really well down his top and out of his hip, and the way he uses his hind leg. You know, he's not as extended up front, maybe not quite as neat there at the base of his chest as compared to our class winner, but still a very, very high-quality bull here to come in second. Not to take anything away from the one in third, because that bull is very good in terms of muscle, shape, and dimension. He's got some rib cage and volume to him as well. Need to loosen him up when you get him out on the go ever so slightly and make him just a shot more attractive here from the side. But very, very good class of May bulls. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Results from Class 126 of your Club Cap steers in your belted Galloway show. In first place, entry number 45, Sunnybrook Maestro, owned by Tommy McGuire. In second place, entry number 46, Sunnybrook Ike, owned by Kaylee Alkelman. Now exhibiting in the belted Galloway show is Class 56 of your finished steers. Results from Class 32 of your Hereford Bull show. In first place, entry number 329, MCS Hot Topic 121, owned by Mary Carter Shirley of Sparta, Tennessee. In second place, entry number 331, MTM 2296, Archimedes 123, owned by Amberlyn and Graylin Christianberry of Star, South Carolina, and Matthew Murphy of Calhoun, Georgia.
Good division here, these summer yearling bulls, and not to take anything away from the class winner up front, he definitely needs recognized out here. That's a very good bull, just a single entry, but big-bodied, high-volume bull. I think that's got a lot of shape and mass and dimension to him. You know, he probably out here can balance up a little nicer as the two right behind him, but a very, very good individual on his own. I think the two bulls out of the second class are both extremely high quality, different as far as their type and kind go, but let's congratulate them in this particular division on being champion in reserve.
Your champion intermediate yearling Hereford Bull goes to entry number 329, MCS Hot Topic 121, owned by Mary Carter Shirley of Sparta, Tennessee. Your reserve champion intermediate yearling Hereford Bull goes to entry number 331, MTM 2296, Archimedes 123, owned by Amberlyn and Graylin Christianberry of Star, South Carolina, and Matthew Murphy of Calhoun, Georgia.
The Galloway side, folks, just really a nice trio of market steers out here, folks. Design is really nice throughout the class. Makeup and design and quality and balance. Steer we're going to start with, folks, is just simply the stouter made, the bigger top, the bigger hip steer. I think when you get behind him, he shows me a little more width and base and dimension, has a little more power when you get behind him as well. I think he's a little more correct design from the point of his shoulder back. He's a little nicer from his hooks to his pins down. He has a little more shape of quarter when you get behind him as well compared to the rest. Just a steer that's designed really nice to start with. I think the closest one to him in terms of hip shape and top shape is a steer standing in second. Here's a steer from the ground up. You like his foot size. You like his bone and substance and power in this steer. Definitely, ideally, you could maybe change them pins and jack them up just a touch and loosen up his hip on the move. But at the same time on the stand, you like the power, you like the overall makeup, a shape, a top that he has. The steer in third, folks, here's a steer that's designed really nice. The power in his top and the width and dimension of base you like, or you'd like to change him. He gets a little off in his hip. He's a little designed. You'd like to loosen him up in that top line. You'd like to loosen him up in that hip and hind leg, stouten up them rear wheels just a touch. Nice trio of steers on your belted Galloway side.
Results of Class 56 of your belted Galloway show. Of your finished steer portion of the show, in first place, entry number 43, Oatley's Farm Earl, owned by Olivia Oatley. In second place, entry number 48, Sunnybrook Cody, owned by Charlotte Allball. And in third place, entry number 44, Finke Farms Massey, owned by Marshall Finke.
Fun class of these big Hereford bulls out here and a set of marches, and they're good. They're so good, and definitely want to commend these exhibitors out here for bringing these high quality ones to the show, because these two up here in first and second, they're different, but they're both high quality big bulls. And the dark red bull that's going to win, is just a functional good animal. He is so good in terms of his forerib, his body shape, and his balance all the way through from chest back through his rear rib and flank. Yet he's still super athletic. And I think what's the deceiving part about him is he looks smooth and everything here from the side, but you get on top of that one, and that bull is really stout and square out of the backside of his shoulder and maintains a lot of pin width and stoutness. It's just a pretty good animal there to win that particular class. I like this bull in second. That's a long-bodied, really, really neat, attractive one here from the side. He gives you a great look here, the way he is out of his hip and off his hind leg. Bull's lean, he's fresh, gives you a good look. compared to our class winner. Not as good in terms of his chest and his balance all the way back through. I think for me, he wants to rock and open up there in his shoulder and push his knee a little far forward as compared to that one. Not saying he's unsound by any stretch of the imagination. That's a good animal just compared to our extremely good class winner in this particular class. Young man, you got a very good bull in this class, one that's got extra shape, extra muscle and power. Kind of run into a buzzsaw here with two high-quality ones. Need to loosen him up a little bit, just make him a little stouter in terms of his feature, but a very, very high-quality one here to close the class.
Side, truly a nice set of class winners and seconds out here, folks. I think when you look at these cattle as a group, sound and functional, they have some body, they have some mass, they have some shape. You like the quality about these animals and their tops and their hips and their hind leg as well. Sound and functional, good on their feet and legs. Folks, if you would, let's give the exhibitors a nice round of applause. We'll pick your champion and reserve out your belted Galloway side.
Results of Class 33 of your Hereford Bull Show. In first place, entry number 335, EKS DWK B26 Final Chapter J10, owned by Gary and Kathy Buckholtz of Desdemona, Texas, and Dylan Wayne Kotkamp of Clayton, Indiana. In second place, entry number 336, KLD Triumph 4J, owned by Kyle Lemon of Manchester, Maryland. In third place, entry number 334, owned by Harrison Roberts. Now entering the ring is Class 34 of your Hereford Bull Show. This is your first call all champion and reserve champion Hereford Bulls. Once again, first call all champion and reserve champion Hereford Bulls to the makeup arena. And your grand champion, purebred belted Galloway steer, goes to entry number 43. Oatley's Farm Earl, owned by Olivia Oatley. Your reserve grand champion, purebred steer, goes to entry number 48. Sunnybrook Cody, owned by Charlotte Albaugh.
Good pair of February bulls, really high quality class winner here in terms of just structure and balance and build. Bull can get out and cover some ground, and I think the most impressive thing about him, he reads, high growth on paper, and he shows you out here that he still has performance and power, but yet gives you a really, really good silhouette out here. He's great behind his shoulder, all the way out through his hip, and uses his hind leg extremely well. Balances up from chest to flank. Really, really high quality bull to win this class. Good one coming in second. Stout featured, heavy boned, big footed, rugged bull here. Not as smooth, not as correct in terms of his structure as the one that wins, but young lady's got a nice bull here to kick out later in life. Very high quality individual.
Your Class 34 results of your Hereford Bull Show. In first place, entry number 338, SFF KKH 25E Pilgrim 107, owned by B.J. Herman and Sons of Edgerton, Ohio. Flatter Hereford Farms of Fairborn, Ohio, and Todd, Kim, and Casey Herman of Lima, Ohio. In second place, entry number 340, Grand Blue Crush 6153, owned by Grand Meadows Farm of Ada, Michigan. Now entering the ring is Class 35 of your Hereford Bull Show. This is your second call all champion and reserve champion Hereford Bulls. Second call all champion and reserve champion Hereford Bulls to the makeup arena.
Just a single heifer out here, folks, in your Miss Mark class. Here's a heifer that's designed really nice and beautiful on her feet and legs, and her top and hip is really smooth and square. It's a heifer that's designed really nice out her shoulder. She's a little more up-headed. She ties into that shoulder really nice, out that neck. Definitely a heifer that's true in her lines, has worlds of femininity. Just really a nice individual out here. Congratulations to the young lady.
Your grand champion purebred Miss Mart heifer goes to entry number 4, AJC Edge of Glory, owned by Abigail Karen.
Single January bull out here, but one certainly a very high quality individual. Just a great big bone, big footed bull out here that's super rugged in terms of his type and kind, yet still can give you a good look here off of the side. Be fun to get him back out here in division and compare him to some others here in just a minute. Congratulations.
Your Class 35 winner of your Hereford Bull Show goes to entry number 342, Problem Child, owned by Nearman Cattle Company, LLC of Brownstown, Indiana.
Single entry in your belted Galloway show, folks, in your finished steer competition. Here's a steer that's designed really nice, sound and nice structured on his feet and legs. Has some length of body and some length at top. The angulations in his shoulder is really nice. He's fresh on the handle. He has some width and dimension and muscle as well when you get behind him. Sound and nice structured. Young lady's done a nice job. Just really a nice single entry.
And your grand champion percentage steer of your belted Galloway show goes to entry number 49, Triple T Tanner, owned by Tommy McGuire.
Well, this is a great deal of fun out here for me. Just an outstanding set of these big yearling bulls, and wow, I mean they are powerful and they are stout and they are very, very, very good. And so there is some differences between all three of these class winners and our seconds over there. And I'm going to break them down here a little bit for you because I think they, in my mind, deserve the merit to get to stand out here. It's so hard to keep a big bull looking this good and this fresh, and all 3, 4, 5 of these are extremely, extremely good. Bull that wins the first class, that was a really good pair of them bulls, but this bull's, he's a neat animal, and I just like the balance and the quality that this dude has, and just, talked about him just down his top and out of his hip and just how smooth and correct he is there. I think his shoulder lays in his body really, really neat. What's impressive about him is he's still got plenty to him when you get right on him. That's a good bull there in terms of balance and structure and soundness. In this drive, he's the one that's the best in terms of his forerib. He's the best in terms of just the sweep and shape to his body back through his rear rib and flank. Is he the wildest nectar, the most out there in terms of his bone work? Probably not, but I think everything hooks up and matches very, very well on that bull. Bull in second, athletic. That dude can get out and cover some ground. Love the way that he gets around and uses his hip and hind legs. So functional and so flexible in terms of his type and kind. He's a long-bodied bull that's got extension up through his front end as well. He, like the one in front of him, is very neat in terms of his shoulder and how he uses his knee and gets out and goes. I think he stays very collected. Bull that balances up extremely well. Is there as much of him as the one right in front of him or the one right behind him? Probably not, but I think that bull is right in terms of his condition, still has power, still has shape. Very, very good animal there. Interesting one wins the third class. I mean, this is probably as stout and massive and just manly looking one as you can ever, imagine from a bone and substance and foot standpoint. I mean, this dude is stout. I mean, you get on top of him, there is worlds of shape and muscle and just power to that one. Now, with that comes with some extra shoulder, comes with some extra just pushing up front in terms of his knee. Like to fix him right there in those areas and tone him down and set his knee back into his body ever so slightly. I think with that, just give him a little more forerib. You want to study him from behind every once in a while too. Maybe gets out on his hock. You could just bring everything inside of him ever so slightly. But man, from a look, a muscle, a shape standpoint, bull does a lot of things extremely well. So it's extremely, extremely close out here. You could do so many things. For me, there's a pair of bulls that just fit so well together from structure, balance, body, and rib shape standpoint. Help me congratulate the bull out of Class 1 champion, the bull out of Class 2 reserve. Congratulations, these exhibitors.
On your belted Galloway side, folks, just a pair of percentage heifers out here, and this will be your grand and reserve in this division, but a pair of heifers that are just sound and nice structured and good in their makeup. The January baby that's in front, definitely a heifer that has some size and power and structure. She's loose in her makeup. I think ideally, if you were to tweak on her a little bit, I think you can smooth her up in that top and that hip and that hind leg, but at the same time, she's sound and good structured on her feet and legs. She has some length of body and some length and extension out that front one. Third, the senior yearling that's behind her, the older heifer, definitely a heifer you'd just like to see a little further along in calf and just producing a little bit of udder, but at the same time, sound and good structured on her feet and legs. Here's a heifer that has some shape and has some top and has some balance. Nice set of heifers, folks. Let's give these two individuals a nice round of applause, and I'll pick your champion and reserve in this division.
And your grand champion percentage heifer in your belted Galloway show goes to entry number 7, Rock Creek Dottie, owned by Tommy McGuire. Your reserve grand champion percentage heifer goes to entry number 29, Riversmith Bell, owned by Josh Smith.